What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Real Breakdown. Today, guys, we're going to be talking about episode number 4 of Moon Knight called The Tomb. Guys, I just finished watching this episode for the third time. Yes, guys, I watched this episode 3 times. If you've seen it, you obviously know this was a crazy episode with a crazy ending. And guys, we got to talk about it. So, first of all, guys, I gotta say, last episode I said it was definitely a step back from the other episodes. It was definitely not. It was definitely my least favorite of the episodes, especially since I really liked episode 1 and 2. And for episode 4, guys, man, did they take those 2 steps forward that I really wanted them to take. So yeah, guys, I love this episode. I thought it was so much fun. I love the whole kind of like Indiana Jones, like the Mummy kind of vibe. And I'm going to reference more of the Mummy because I grew up with those films. We weren't really as much of an Indiana Jones kind of household. But man, this episode just felt like an exploring adventure, like chasing gold, hunting for treasure and going into pyramids and tombs and stuff like that. It just gave me the Mummy vibes, Brendan Fraser, Rachel Weisz, and Layla just kind of filled that Rachel Weisz role so well. So guys, I really love the adventure in this, and I know one of the things that I've been talking about is how like the action hasn't necessarily been as great. This episode pretty much had no action, guys, and that was 100% okay. And I really liked how this episode just kind of focused on like, hey, we're in the tomb, we're going on this adventure. It felt like that. It had those moments like the Mummy where like there's creepiness, there's scary moments, the zombie looking things, the like the magical priests or whatever they are, like those guys are pretty creepy and scary. So I really like that they had those moments in there because it really made it feel like that, adventure film. And on top of that, guys, I'm just really loving the performances of our 3 lead actors. Oscar Isaac, the actress that plays Layla, I'm sorry, I still don't have her name memorized, and Ethan Hawke, obviously as Harold. All 3 of them are doing a phenomenal job of acting. Layla is really, really impressing me. Every time she's on screen, she's conveying so much with her facial expressions, with her emotions. And like, she's just, I'm really loving her character. So the acting is still as good as it was in the first few episodes, guys. So that's always a huge plus. So I thought this episode was great from start to finish. I really loved how, they tied in so many awesome things from like Alexander the Great to the, the Egyptian eye and the sixth senses. I mean, so much of this was super cool. I mean, we even had a few moments with Steve and Layla and then Mark punching him because he kissed Layla. I mean, those kind of moments are just what makes, certain adventures like this so much fun. So I had a blast with those moments, and I'm so glad that they put him in there. Now, I also like that we got a little bit of backstory with Layla's father and how he got murdered and how Mark was there. So we got some information there as well. I also like that we had moments between Harrow and Layla and how, man, he just tore her apart with that information that he had. And, her acting was just so good. But I love that we have those little moments also of Steve telling Layla, why Mark is pushing her away and how he's trying to protect her from Khonshu. I mean, finally, we got that out in the clear. It's not something that has to be haunting us anymore. It's not something that has to be looming over the characters anymore. So I'm glad we got that out of the way. And it's interesting because, this episode was so adventure-y with so many things going on. It really felt like a journey, and they were still able to find moments to put those conversations in there. So I thought that was just very well directed, very well shot. The episode looked great. And so, guys, let's just get right to it. Obviously, at that moment when Harrow shoots Mark Spector, aka Stephen Grant, aka Moon Knight, I have to say that scene was amazing. That might be my favorite scene of the whole series, because that slow-mo and then that like the music of like, the chants in the background. I mean, and then just the way he falls into the water, and then you see like, I mean, he's barely, the water's not that deep and he's like floating above it, right? But like then when you look at it from his other perspective, he's sinking. Oh my God, the imagery was just amazing. The music behind it was great as well. So really, really love that scene. And then how it just transitioned into, this explorer movie, right? And that gets us right to the big reveal, right, guys? It gets us to this reveal of Mark being, Oscar Isaac being in a mental institution, which is so crazy because there were a few people out there that said, you know what, guys, I think everything we're seeing is BS. I think everything we're seeing is just in his head. This is not real. And I'll be honest, I was always like, that's interesting, but I don't know. They're putting so much into this story, 3 episodes worth, 4 episodes worth. for them then to reveal that that is the case. I mean, at least that's what we're thinking so far, right? So there's a few theories going around, right? Of like, hey, it turns out everything we've been seeing is fake. He's actually made it all in his head. We're in this mental institution. That's the reality, right? And the things that are, the tombs, and then that hippopotamus god at the end, people are saying that is just kind of in his head. He's mentally ill. So whether that's the case, that's a theory, right? Another theory is that no, the mental institution is the fake. The what we've been seeing is reality, and he's currently kind of in limbo, and maybe he's going through the trial of the reeds, or whatever they mentioned in the first episode. How the Egyptians thought that you had to go through a trial before you after you died. So yeah, guys, I mean, there's a few different theories going around. All I know is that I was shocked. I was in utter just like, what? I did not see that coming. Holy cow. I was super excited by it. I was already loving the episode. I was already loving the adventure aspect, feeling like the Mummy. Like I said, I love those movies growing up, and thought it was very well done. And then they hit us with that. And guys, we see that second tomb, right, shaking. They don't go open it. Could that be Jake Lockley, his third identity from the comics? It could be, right? I mean, we just have no idea, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen in this next episode. I mean, there's so many little things. I feel like you could really do like a breakdown of this episode and find so many things. I know New Rockstars did one. I haven't checked it out yet, but I feel like there's so much in this episode that we could like kind of go through, right? These are just short reactions, so I'm not going to go into it, but man, I can't wait to dive deep into all that, because there's a lot of hidden things going on here, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen next. Gotta say, guys, there really weren't many negatives. I really enjoyed this episode. I mean, at first, when the episode started, with Layla, like, taking on those guys in the guns, and she throws the flare into the bullets, and I was like, is that really how that works? But now it actually all kind of makes sense. A lot of my gripes kind of make sense. If this is that Mark made this up in his head, and it's all based off of that, Tomb Buster, movie, then it makes sense that a lot of this stuff that I've been complaining about is the way it is, because it's based off of kind of a cheap knockoff kind of movie. So that's so awesome. If that's the route that they're going, how smart of them to do that. So guys, all I can say is last week's episode was kind of a downer for me. This week it picked back up. I'm just so happy where this show is going. I can't wait to see what's going on. There's so many mysteries going on. Not sure what's going to happen, but I'm very excited for this next episode. So guys, with that said, that's where I'm going to leave it at. I know there's so much more we can get into, guys, but I really just haven't had the time to dive deep into it and then be able to do, kind of a video on it. But I will be giving you guys my reactions on the next few episodes. Can't wait to see where it goes. So with that said, guys, I'm going to leave it there. That'll be the real breakdown for episode 4 of Moon Knight, The Tomb. And until next time, guys, see ya. Hey, everyone. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and stay tuned for what's next to come on The Real Breakdown.